Once upon a time, by a lovely, shimmering pond, a mother duck sat on her nest. She was waiting for her babies to hatch. It was a beautiful day, with the sun warming her feathers and little fish making ripples in the water. One by one, the small eggs started to crack. Out came 4 little ducklings, as yellow as buttercups and as fluffy as could be. They peeped and cheeped, happy to finally see the world. Mother Duck was so proud of her sweet yellow babies. They were just perfect. She counted them, 1, 2, 3, 4, but wait, there was still one more egg left in the nest. It was much bigger than all the others. The big egg took a very long time to hatch. Mother Duck waited and waited, growing a little worried. Finally, the big egg began to wobble and crack. Out popped a new baby bird. But this bird was not small and yellow. He was big and gray, with clumsy feet and a long, awkward neck. He looked so different from his brothers and sisters. The other ducklings stared at him. The mother duck looked at her strange new baby and didn't know what to think. She loved all her children, of course, but this one was just so unusual. She hoped he would be okay. As the days went by, the big gray duckling felt very out of place. His brothers and sisters didn't want to play with him. They would waddle away and whisper about how ugly he was. Even the other animals on the farm, like the chickens and the turkeys, would make fun of him. They pecked at him and shooed him away whenever he came near. The poor duckling felt so sad and so lonely. He would often hide in the tall reeds by the pond, wishing he looked just like everyone else. He didn't understand why being different was such a bad thing. The little gray duckling tried his best to fit in. He tried to quack like his siblings and swim as gracefully as them, but he always felt clumsy and awkward. His quack sounded more like a strange honk. Every day, the teasing got worse, and his heart grew heavier. He would look at his reflection in the water and feel a deep sense of sadness. Why was he so gray and strange looking? He dreamed of a place where someone would accept him just as he was. A place where he could have a friend. He felt like he didn't belong anywhere, especially not with his own family. One morning, the sadness became too much to bear. The little gray duckling decided he couldn't stay on the farm any longer. With a heavy heart, he said a silent goodbye and slipped away from the pond while everyone was still asleep. He didn't know where he was going, but he knew he had to find a place where he could belong. He waddled through fields and forests, all alone, searching for a friendly face. The world was a big, scary place, but the hope of finding kindness kept him moving forward. He just wanted to find a home. His journey was long and difficult. He met other birds, but they all turned him away. He tried to join a flock of wild ducks, but they just laughed at him and told him he was too ugly to be with them. He felt a sting of rejection with every encounter. He walked for miles and miles, his little feet getting tired and sore. The world seemed full of beautiful creatures who all had families and friends, while he had no one. He started to believe what they all said, that he was truly ugly, and that he would be alone forever. As summer turned into autumn, the leaves on the trees changed from green to beautiful shades of orange and red. The air grew colder and the days grew shorter. The little duckling shivered as he continued his lonely search. He found a marsh where some wild geese lived, and for a moment he felt a spark of hope. But soon hunters came with their loud guns and the geese flew away, leaving him all alone once again. He hid in the reeds, trembling with fear and cold. It felt like the whole world was against him, and he didn't know how he would survive. The nights became longer and colder. The little duckling had to find shelter wherever he could, often hiding under bushes or in hollow logs. He missed having a warm nest and a family to snuggle with. He missed the feeling of being safe. Every day was a struggle just to find a little bit of food and a safe place to rest. He was so incredibly lonely. He often thought about the mother duck and his siblings, wondering if they ever missed him at all. The loneliness was a constant ache in his heart, a feeling that never seemed to go away. Winter arrived, and it was harsh and unforgiving. The world was covered in a thick blanket of white snow, and the pond froze over into a sheet of hard ice. The little duckling was colder than he had ever been before. His feathers were not enough to protect him from the biting wind. Finding food became nearly impossible. He was tired, hungry, and very, very weak. One day, he became so exhausted from trying to paddle in the icy water that he got stuck in the frozen pond. He thought this was surely the end of his sad little life. Just when he had lost all hope, a kind farmer found him. The farmer saw the poor bird trapped in the ice and felt sorry for him. He carefully broke the ice and gently picked up the freezing duckling. He wrapped him in his warm coat and carried him back to his farmhouse. For the first time in a long time, the duckling felt warmth and safety. The farmer brought him inside and gave him some food and water. The duckling was so grateful. Maybe, just maybe, he had finally found a place where he could be happy and safe. The farmer's children were very excited to see the new bird. They wanted to play with him, but they were loud and clumsy. They chased him around the room, shouting and laughing. The little duckling was not used to so much noise and commotion. He was terrified. He thought they were trying to hurt him. In a panic, he flapped his wings wildly, knocking over a pail of milk and a bowl of flour. The farmer's wife shouted, and the duckling flew into a frenzy, trying to escape the chaos he had accidentally caused. Scared and confused, the duckling found an open door and flew back out into the freezing cold. He didn't understand that the children had just wanted to play. He just knew that he had messed everything up again. He was back in the snow, alone once more. The rest of the winter was incredibly hard. He had to hide in a small cave in the snow, surviving on whatever little scraps he could find. He spent the long, cold months dreaming of sunshine and warmth, holding on to a tiny sliver of hope that spring would eventually come and bring a new beginning. Finally, the long, hard winter ended. The sun began to shine warmly again, melting the snow and ice. The world came back to life with color and sound. The little duckling felt the warmth on his feathers and felt a new strength growing inside him. He had survived. He stretched his wings, which felt surprisingly big and powerful. He had grown a lot during the winter. He walked to the pond, which was now a beautiful, clear blue again. He felt a sense of peace he hadn't felt in a very long time. The world felt fresh and new, and so did he. As he glided onto the water, he saw a group of the most magnificent birds he had ever seen. They were large and white, with long, elegant necks and graceful movements. They were swans. He had seen them once before flying high in the sky, and had thought they were the most beautiful creatures in the world. He felt shy and ashamed, remembering how ugly everyone thought he was. He decided to swim toward them anyway. He would rather be rejected by these beautiful birds than live alone forever. He bowed his head, expecting them to laugh at him. But as he bowed his head, he saw something incredible in the water. He saw his own reflection, but it wasn't the reflection of a clumsy, gray, ugly duckling. Staring back at him was a beautiful bird with a long, graceful neck and brilliant white feathers. He looked just like the other majestic birds on the pond. He wasn't an ugly duckling at all. He was a swan. All this time, he was never meant to be a duck. He was different because he was destined to become something else entirely, something wonderful and beautiful. The other swans swam over to him and welcomed him with gentle calls. They didn't see an ugly bird, they saw one of their own. For the first time in his life, he felt a sense of belonging. He had found his true family. He lifted his head high and swam proudly with the other swans. He was happy. His journey was a reminder that sometimes we feel like we don't fit in, but that's because we are meant to shine in our own unique way. Being yourself is the most beautiful thing you can be, and eventually, you will find the place where you truly belong.